Cue the violins.
I am going to share a story that I've never
Yay.
shared on record.
Venmo me $50 and then we'll talk.
No way.
But I think there's a way you can do it without sounding like a dick.
And because I cried, the guy was like, you know what? You look like someone that will practice. And so he passed me.
You can send me the bill for my therapist appointment.
I would, but I don't want to make you cry.
Don't hang up on me.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, doing good.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, how about me? Can you hear me?
I can. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. How's your morning been so far?
It's been good. I'm having a slower start to the day than some days, which is good. I power through. Usually have a really busy kind of Thursday to Sunday and then catch up on stuff Monday to Tuesday and been working on a song for someone before this. So yeah, all good. How about you?
Pretty good. I am so in love with the glow of your skin right now.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I put some moisturizer on. So.
it looks so good. I'm like here all scruffy, and I'm like, she's getting a very manly mo today because I've got scruff.
No, no, your skin looks lovely. What's your secrets?
Just lots of facials and moisturizer and sunblock. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Hydrating
yeah.
has been like the biggest secret to it ever since I started obsessing over water. I wasn't a big water drinker when I was younger, but as I got older, I started to drink a lot of water. Game changer.
Good. I mean, yeah, that's where are you based?
So I am now in Austin, Texas.
So it's pretty warm there right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Like how warm are we talking? I still think it's Celsius mode though, so I gotta convert. Hotter than LA, right?
Oh, big time.
Okay.
It's awful.
Right. I hope you've got a good AC unit there.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't live here
Okay.
without it.
Mine's mediocre, so I hope it's not too loud right now in the background, but I kind of need it to not sweat.
No, it sounds great. And so you're
Okay.
originally from New Zealand, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Have you been out that way before?
No. Oh my gosh. Tell me all about it. Do you miss it?
I do. I do. It's I moved out this way January 2020. So I was all excited to move here. So it was a month before the pandemic. But before that, I had lived in Melbourne, Australia for 5 years. Yeah, but New Zealand is home. Well, now LA is my other home. But yeah, I do miss it. I miss my family. I've got my sister's coming to visit in a few months, which would be nice. And I've only been back once in over 4 years, so I hopefully will get back like early next year when I release my EP and do some stuff there. But it's a great place. I mean, I have this wonderful community of musicians there, and there's like very specific things I miss about it. Like, have you heard of Marmite?
No.
It's just like something you put on your toast. So every time someone's coming over, they bring me a couple of jars of Marmite. It's an acquired taste for sure. Australians have this thing called Vegemite. That was kind of the equivalent, and we fight over which one is better. So I miss that. Such a beautiful place. I was about 20 minutes away from a gorgeous like surf beach. And people go, "Why would you move here?" But there's many reasons I wanted to move here. The biggest reason being like just to kind of keep growing as a musician. But yeah, it's a great place. If I get sent back for whatever reason, I'm on a visa, so I'm on an alien visa, meaning that I work in music here. But it's there could be worse places to go back to for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're still working with some producers and stuff when your newer music from New Zealand, correct?
My most recent music, I've been working with someone here in LA, but then like my previous single I just released a couple of weeks ago was done here as well, but then I needed a little something extra. So my cousin, who's was New Zealand based at the time, and actually just now moved over here. So I have one family member here. He added some guitars. So yeah, I would love to do some more stuff with some of my New Zealand friends as well. But most of it has been here. Most of it since coming here in 2020 has been with one particular guy called Rob Kleiner, who is amazing. And I love working with him. He's like my main collaborator. And then I played at an event, and I met some of the guys in Tenacious D actually, and the bass player is now has produced my most recent EP, who's done a lot of work with all that band as well as other artists and singer-songwriters and things. He's very versatile. So yeah, that's been really, really fun. So we're just mixing that at the moment, planning to get that out soon.
That's so exciting. I didn't know that. And for anyone listening who does not know who Tenacious D is, Jack Black, that's all you need to know. Iconic.
Yes. Yeah, I was playing a dinner party someone hired me just to play, like, you go to those functions and like a cocktail piano player just playing away. And I didn't know that it would only be for like 10 people in a house. And all of a sudden he starts singing along to a song, and then it turns into a big sing along, Jack Black. And then we end up doing him, and his bass player, John Spiker, is an incredible singer as well. And he busts out a Queen song. And then that's how I got that connection to work with him. So yeah, it's been awesome. A different way of working for sure. We've had like the drummer from a band called the Wallflowers play on it, and Drew, who's played pedal steel, and he works with Casey Musgraves. Yeah, it's like a really nice collaborative EP. So hoping to get that out at the very end of this year, probably, realistically.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear all about it and to also tune in. That is so cool. I love hearing you talk about how something of a smaller gig turned into such a big collaborative moment for you.
Yeah.
I love that.
I nearly didn't do the gig because my dad was arriving visiting from New Zealand, and he's like, "No, I'll be jet lagged. Make sure go do it." And then 2 hours later, Jack Black's like, "Where's your dad? Bring your dad." Or, like they're like, "Oh, let's get your dad here." That's the thing. One of the things I really like about Los Angeles is that things can evolve very quickly, and there's always something random happening, and a way of different ways of going about stuff. You never know. Like, I was playing another event of a similar nature. I didn't think anyone was listening, and a music supervisor that puts a lot of music in some of my favorite TV shows was like, "Oh, I like your versions of songs, and keep in touch." So yeah, I do like that particularly about Los Angeles, America, or even anywhere really, that you never know what's going to happen from something. So to be open and not write off something because it doesn't sound like the opportunity of a lifetime, oh, background music, no one's listening, but then that turned into that. So yeah, I do love that.
I love that so much. Is that also kind of how, and I'm totally freestyling here because something just popped into my head. I
Oh
know
yeah.
that you had a song in Nancy Drew, the CW show, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How did
Um,
that come about?
I think it was 2018 before I was moving here. I'm always like trying to connect with people and, become a better songwriter. And there was a conference in Hawaii called the Hawaii Songwriting Festival. And I had also just gotten my rights back for my own music. Like, I had someone that put my songs or pitched my songs for shows before, but that I had just become like a free agent. So I was like connecting with music supervisors and with sync licensing companies, and connected with one and who, yeah, took me on and on their roster, and they pitched my song for that one and managed to get chosen. That was a song from like 2011, actually. So you never know what songs are going to resound for people for the right scene. So from there, yeah, I've had a few songs in some US shows, and another one was at that event where that guy came up to me who does a lot of music for HBO shows. And when I researched him, he was like, "We should have a chat on the phone." And I researched him. He'd already put a song of mine in a TV show called Stumptown a few years before that, coincidentally. So yeah, there's all these little connections, and it can seem like a very big place, but things get small as well, and the communities connect. Yeah, I like that about that. So, I had a background doing a little bit of acting growing up. So it's like nice to have songs and shows and kind of connect that way. And I love how songs can just add to the scene. I wish that had been a little louder in the mix, so more people could have heard it. But I'm like, these actors are talking too loud. Shh, turn my song up.
I love that. Well, I mean, since we're talking about throwback music and things of the past, I
Yeah.
wanted to read you something I wrote in my notes.
Oh,
Before we
okay.
start to talk about your latest single, I want to
Mm.
tell you how much I love You Got Me. I've listened to it so
Oh,
many times.
really? Oh, thank you
Yes.
so much. I don't know if you've ever seen the Taika Waititi movies like What We Do in the Shadows, and there's like the original documentary that has the vampires, and one of the original vampires is a friend of mine, Johnny. He plays Deacon, this vampire. And I was living in Melbourne at the time, and he was like needed somewhere to crash. I was like, "Oh, well, do you want to be in a music video while you're here?" So he played a cult leader in a music video for that song, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's been in a couple of shows, which is awesome. I loved I worked with a guy called Mick Hubbard on that song in Melbourne who produced that one. So yeah, thank you. That's great to hear. I do like that song. I should play it more often.
That was going to be my next question. Do you play that song often at your live shows?
Every now and then, yeah. Do you think it's a sad song?
You know what? I actually don't think it's a sad song at all.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, "Oh, is it a bit sad to play?" But I love playing that song. I wish that I had in the recording, I play clarinets and have like a whole, arrangement thing. And often I'm playing solo here, but I haven't done that song with a band in LA actually. So that's my homework for the next show.
You're welcome.
I'll send it to you. I'll do a shout
Yes.
out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's so funny that you asked me that. It's actually one of my favorite questions when people ask me about softer music and my take on
Mhm.
it, because I am not your traditional like ballad music listener. I
Okay.
love to groove to sad music. So it's always such a weird question when people are like, but that's such a sad song. Well, sad music fucking moves me like crazy. Like I'll listen to a sad Celine Dion song and I'll just be grooving to it. It moves me in a
Oh,
way I cannot explain it. And so to answer your question about that song, it's very difficult for me to be like, yes, it is a sad song. I love to groove with it. And for me, when I had it on repeat a couple nights ago, I could not sit still. I had to get up
oh,
and get moving to it. So
oh, that's so nice to hear. First of all, though, what Celine's song are we talking about? I literally watched the documentary last night about her and what she's going through. But yeah, I was just like overwhelmed with, memories of her catalog and what they meant to me at the time. So I'm curious to know what sad song of Celine's you were grooving to as
oh my
well.
gosh. Okay, so I love this so much because I've never talked about this, but one of the first one that comes to mind, I don't know if you know this song, but she has a song called If That's What It Takes.
I don't know if I do remember that one. Can you sing a little bit for me?
I would, but I don't want to make you cry.
No, but sad songs make me happy. So I'm
Oh, I
I'm
love
with you on
that.
there. Yeah, well, it makes me feel connected, and I think that's the point with some of the more like somber music, is that some of us find solace in that, or feel like less isolated, or feel like we're not alone with how we're feeling about something, which ultimately makes me feel happy in a way. Cue the violins.
Yes.
But yeah, have you watched the documentary on her and her health and things that going on at the moment?
Yeah, I was so shocked by it. I was not expecting for them to show that ending scene. I could not believe it. It was so, I don't even know how to explain it, but I was just like shocked. And I've seen some gruesome shit on TV. That was crazy.
Yeah. It's very amazing how she's like, so honest and transparent about it, and just makes she's such a strong person. And imagine that, yeah. I'm like, oh, my hair looks bad. Let's not show that shot. Like to sort of be like so transparent. It's incredible. And I haven't seen the Olympic performance yet, but I'm gonna watch that after this. But she seems like a real trooper and so dedicated to her craft. It's sort of I have this sort of condition with my ears where I hear my voice louder than it is. It's like to do with eustachian tubes. But at the time when I was Googling this kind of thing, it's called patulous eustachian tube. Celine Dion is like had that as well. And so it's like, oh, I'm in good company. But anyway, it was just like just what she goes through, and how even though his performances on stage, just to give so much while going through everything, it was incredible. Yeah. So anyway, just watched that last night. So it's like fresh on my radar. But I personally was the one in New Zealand, like downloading like karaoke files to all her songs and singing them at like shopping malls, talent quests and stuff like that. So I was always like, yeah, just the variety of what she could do, like the ballads, but also like the collaboration and stuff. It's incredible.
Do you think
Team
there's
Celine.
any, yes, do you
The
think there's
shoes, so many
any,
shoes.
oh, her shoe collection is just out of this world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, if you could collect one thing in a closet, if you had a two-story closet, what would the first floor be full of?
Probably dresses, I suppose, like vintage dresses. I love like kind of thrift stores and finding like vintage numbers, 60s and 70s kind of stuff, but probably dresses. My shoe collection needs some improvement, I think. I remember the day back in the day where I would get free Converse shoes in New Zealand, and I had like so many of them. They're all gone now.
What happened to that?
Oh, it was just like 10 years ago. So I wore them out. Time to go back and get some more shoes. But when I moved here, I literally sold my dressing gown and everything to move to America. So I got rid of like everything just to try and save up money. I don't know who bought my dressing gown. I think someone did, but not like someone that knew me, but I would just put everything up there. I put everything, my instruments, apart from my keyboard, and yeah, all my clothes. So I started over fresh. So starting to collect some nice items again, but I was like literally only moved here with like a suitcase and a keyboard. So it was hard to cull. My parents, I think they've got like one or two boxes of stuff, but I did a pretty good job getting rid of stuff, which I find difficult. I'm a Cancer, which apparently means I'm a hoarder or something. But what about you? You've got a nice hat on. Like, do you have a lot of hats?
I don't. This is actually my first and only hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've
What's a good
actually
one?
Thank you. I actually only started to wear hats for the podcast. Never worn hats before, but I am a very big bag collector.
I
Not
love
the
that.
smaller ones, but like the big totes and using them as suitcases or as like, to put my laptop and stuff in. And it's funny because it's the feminine side of me. I'll dress like in combat boots and I'll cut up my
Oh,
own wardrobe. Like I'll be very like black nails, big bulky rings. So I'll get very edgy, but then I'll have like a Louis Vuitton Neverfull to carry all my shit. So
I
bags
love
is my thing.
that. I love that. I can't have so many bags because I lose stuff all the time. Like I'm really bad at emptying bags. Like I have like about 6 tote bags. I'm like, and then I can't find my AirPods for like 2 weeks. I found my credit card after like 3 weeks recently. Like I need to get air tags on everything. But I really respect that. I've started to acquire a few cowboy hats because I play in this house band at this desert themed bar, and I felt the pressure. Everyone else is wearing cowboy hats. So I've got a couple of those now and a few pairs of cowboy boots. But I do like dressing up. But for work, growing up, I did a lot of like played in fancy resorts. So I have a lot of like dresses and stuff like that. But I'm pretty much like someone that gets ready in the car. So sometimes just because I'm always like running behind, or not running behind, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do my makeup. It's a 3 hour drive. There'll be traffic. I'll just do that. Other times I take getting dressed up really serious. I went to the Grammys this year, which was a real like special experience for me. So I did go all out with that, spend a good amount of time getting ready. And I got a different bag, especially like normally I just have one bag for everything. There you go. So I'm going to go stalk your Instagram and check out your nails and bag collection and draw some inspiration.
Perfect. Everyone has heard it here. Next time I'm in LA, Lisa Crawley and I are going to go play dress up. We're going to go thrift shopping and DIY our own clothing and collect some more stuff.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely. And nails, if I get my nails done, some of the gigs I play piano for like 3 to 4 hours. If it's a long, like I call those work gigs, and my nails are just gone by the end of it. So it's not something like every now and then I got my nails done for my birthday. But like if I have like a gig where I'm really like hammering the piano, like play a lot of like honky tonk piano in the desert band. And so my nails are just like looking like unhappy with me after that. But I do appreciate a good manicure.
I love that. Well, since you brought up the piano, I actually had this in my notes to talk to you about this a little bit later, but I'm just going to jump right into it. I've noticed on your Instagram, you play a lot of instruments. There was a tambourine, a flute, either a bass or cello of some sort. I don't know what it was. The piano. Okay, so what all instruments do you play? Oh, and also something I've never seen before. It was an auto harp. Am I saying that correctly?
Oh, yeah, that's down there. The Q chord thing. It's
Yes.
like the little drum beat. That's called the Q chord. And I'm very, very upset because after years and years, 2 chords I use a lot. A minor, I think, a D minor, have stopped working. So I need to save up for a new one. There's a brand new Omni chord that's come out that's amazing. But that came with me from New Zealand, actually. That was the one thing. I think I accidentally left it on the plane once and managed to get it back. I'm so sorry, Q chord. Yeah, I do love playing a variety of instruments. I have I think the thing that you might be talking about with the cello is like a small double bass. So my friend, when I got to LA and it's been a bit of time here, I made a friend that plays double bass and he was selling his smaller one and gave me an amazing deal. So I've been trying to practice a little more. I'm the kind of person that gets frustrated if I can't play something quickly. I'm like, come on, why can't I do this yet? I'm like, oh, it's because I haven't ever learned how to play it. But yeah, I have a clarinet. I played that all through high school, and that actually appears in a lot of songs. Like, I'm pretty DIY with recording sometimes. So a lot of my songs, even the most recent one I put out, has got like a clarinet section. And I love layering that kind of stuff and arranging strings and like horns and things like that. So on the latest EP, I am trying to bow. I emphasize try. My lovely producer, John, was very encouraging. He's like, it sounds pretty good. Sounds great. And he literally just worked with Hans Zimmer. And I'm like, I'm so sorry you have to hear this. But I was like bowing it to get some strings because I was like, no, we'll just do it ourselves. We'll be fine. But yeah, he's the patience of a saint. So yeah, when I have a bit more downtime, I look forward to like kind of just, taking a few lessons for that. And yeah, I have a few basses on the wall and a guitar. I love that. But piano is definitely my main instrument and love playing organs and synths as well. Drumming is something I would like to get into. There was one gig with like an SPD kit and they're like, Lisa, get on the kit, thinking that like I just knew how to play it and it was really awkward. I tried and I'm like, okay, I need to practice this one. And I've done 1 or 2 gigs where they expect you to play drums on the keyboard. And I was like, oh, I've never done this before. So that's kind of something that drumming I love a good drummer, and really enjoy on the new EP. This guy Mark Stepro, who's killing it. He does such a great job on the drums. So you can't be good at everything, I think, but just accepting that sometimes it's okay to not be able to nail an instrument as soon as you pick it up. But yeah. What about
Well,
you? What do you play?
I play absolutely nothing. Like, I am not musically inclined in that way. And I did learn how to play the violin. I think it was a year and a half, maybe. And I just really wasn't that good. But I am going to share a story that I've never
Yay.
shared on record. It was my eighth grade year. I was in orchestra and I was playing the bass. It came to do like a Christmas recital or something. Well, I was so bad at it, Lisa, like so bad at it. I had to pretend to play the whole time. And my classmate, who I believe his name was Norman, he played the bass extra louder so that everyone would think that he and I were
Oh,
both playing. So the whole time I'm
oh,
pretending to play, looking at my mom in the stands going, and she's like clapping for me. And little did she know I was not playing shit at the recital.
that's
So
so funny. How long ago was that?
oh my
Last year? No, I'm
gosh.
kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm so young. Oh my gosh, it was a really long time ago. Yeah, I'll never forget that. So no instruments for me, but I will say I did notice you have a tambourine. I can get down to a good tambourine. So if you need someone to play a good
Okay.
tambourine, I got your back, okay?
Thank you. Yeah. Some of the bars that I've played at, like there's a tambourine just there, and so just pick it up. It gets passed around the room. I'm like, oh. But a good time. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to book you in advance. We'll add it to the list of things to do. Yeah. Have you ever been to those karaoke bars with the light up tambourines? Like
No, I haven't even
they're
heard
like
of
glow in the
that.
dark. Okay. Oh, just some of like the karaoke bars, like you get a little private room with your friends, and then they have like, a glow in the dark tambourine and all that kind of thing. Good fun. But I hear you. So that was an electric bass or a double bass?
Oh gosh, this is how dumb I'm about to sound. All I know was a bass in orchestra class, and it was just a really big one. It's a really big one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I've probably faked playing once in my life. I've had traumatic experiences as well. Like I think I was like a kid and doing a recorder recital, and then like a cowbell like fell off the shelf onto my head, and I've never been the same since. I blame that on everything. I'm like, it's because that happened. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, I understand. But at least you faked it well. Like that's part of it. That's, you could be on top of the pops or like, those shows where they just mime.
I'm not gonna lie, I
It's good.
deserved a fucking Emmy for the way I faked that shit. Like I was so good. I love that.
You just gotta get your tricks in there. Like I think it was Mandy Moore's hands in This Is Us playing piano.
Stop. That's the
So,
coolest thing ever.
well, is it? Cool might not be the right word, but my 11-year-old self was going crazy because like I said, she's so talented. But like I just got a text from someone being like, I need a photo of your hands. I was like, oh, that sounds creepy. Venmo me $50 and well then we'll talk. No, I'm kidding. But then they were like, okay, cool. Like you've got this gig now. And do you know Royals by Lord? I was like, yeah, I'm from New Zealand. My friend wrote that song with her. And that was a song that was played on the show. But then she plays herself as like an elderly woman. So they like had to put stuff on my hands and like make them look like 70-year-old hands. So
I think it's fucking cool.
it was cool. I got to meet her and that was fun. Yeah. Just in case you've seen these hands before. Yeah. That's it. That explains it. But yeah,
I love
I
that.
love all the little like random jobs and over here always crack me up. It's like, okay, cool. Not a bad way to pay the bills.
Absolutely. Listen, if I would book a gig just to play her fucking shadow, I'd like wave my body around just to be her shadow. Like, I think she's so amazing. So,
She was lovely. She was like in the makeup trailer. She came in and she brought like coffees for her makeup team and just seemed like a very genuine person.
so much fun. Well, I definitely want to get to your new single, Hey
Yeah,
You.
cool.
I wanted to tell you my favorite part about this music video, which ironically enough, this was before I read anything about it, okay? So I want to definitely give a good shout out to whoever directed your video because I watched it
Oh yeah.
and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, what a genius idea to talk about not really looking like what you are actually feeling. And I loved that about the video. And then there was a line on there about, I actually wrote it down. It says, I've never seen that shade of blue on you. And immediately when I heard that line while watching the video, I was just like, oh my gosh, the color blue can mean nostalgic, sadness. It
Yeah.
can be, grieving loss. It's so many different emotions, and yet you never know what someone's actually feeling on the inside. So shout out to whoever directed your video for that because it is amazing.
I'll pass it on. His name is William Cook. And yeah, you can check out some of his other work on Instagram as well. We met, I was playing at a venue called Vitello's, and him and his wife and two other friends. It was like the end of the night. I was about to finish, and they didn't know that there was music upstairs the whole time. And so they're like, oh my God, we didn't know there was music. So they came and sat around the piano and we did songs, and coincidentally ran into like a musician friend from New Zealand who was there. And it was just like a really nice evening. And they really lit up the room, and I got talking to them, and I was like, oh, we should do something some point. So it took about 6 months, but I remembered him and I was like, hey, would you like to do something together? And he came up with the concept, and we were talking about like music videos. And I've done quite a few music videos in the past. So I was like trying to think of something I hadn't done before. And we filmed it at a place that I have a residency at. So that was kind of nice because it was like a venue that I'm familiar with, but it's also like very, very nostalgic for a lot of people, that particular spot called the Dresden. And I played there twice a month. And yeah, he came up with the concept and we got it all done pretty quickly because they needed to open for the public. So yeah, I was really happy with how that turned out. And I love like 90s music videos as well. So kind of referenced a few of those. Like there was one particular one, a Sheryl Crow. I think it's called My Favorite Mistake. And she's having like a photo shoot and just kind of nonchalant about it. And yeah, we sort of drew some inspiration from that and some Fiona Apple music videos.
I love Fiona
Yeah, so
Apple. Oh my gosh.
me too. Me too. Big fan. So yeah, it was just like that thing of like, even for me, I was like worried as an artist. I'm like, oh, am I gonna come off like looking bratty? Like, oh, a photo shoot. I'm so over it or something. And Will's like, no, 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 it's fine. It's a character because yeah, I didn't want to appear like spoiled brat or anything, but it was more about the representation of what you can feel when things might seem to be going well. There's always layers to what's happening, and even what people might think, like, oh, living the dream in LA, but it's like, well, actually, like this is the reality, or this is what's going on underneath that. Yeah, do really, I adore my life here, and there's heaps of amazing things going on. But yeah, just like a lot of us, it's more about like what we don't know about other people and what might be going on underneath. I was nervous about wearing a blue dress. I'm like, is this going to be too much blue if we're singing the word blue? But I agree, it's like my favorite color and can evoke so many different feelings. I think like calmness as well, but also like sadness and a bit of mystery. And yeah, that shade of blue, I suppose, is like something, a feeling that you can't necessarily pinpoint, but it might be on the more like sad side of things, or just kind of a mystery, like what's going on with somebody. But it was also like a lot of fun as well. And it's a little bit cheeky and a little sassy.
Exactly. I love it. Well, you all did such a great job with it. I think the song is just
Cute.
beautifully done. I think that that is my favorite part about talking to musicians is sometimes, and I don't remember what episode I said this on, but there was an episode where I talked about how sometimes the most obvious things can still be open to interpretation. And I love when an artist is able to convey that. Something like the color blue. Oh, why so blue? It's very common. It's nothing so out of this world, but it's the way you as an
Mm.
artist, you interpret it. It's about the texture of what it is that you're saying can go in so many
Yes.
different directions. And I feel like you nailed it with that in that song. So I love
Oh,
it. Congrats.
that's great to hear. What's some songs that you know with blue in it? I mean, I'm just thinking like Blue Moon, Blue Velvet. That's a really old one, but like, I think Leon Rimes had a song called Blue. Yeah, Out of the Blue. There's that out of the blue, like something's happening. Yeah, it is very multifaceted
It's not,
color.
yes, and it's not really coming to me right now because, first of all, I freaked out over the Fiona Apple thing. I was like, ah! Not a lot of people that I talk to ever bring Fiona Apple up, and I absolutely have loved her for so long. So I freaked out a
Me
little bit
too.
about that. But
Good.
the Spanish artist I had on, his name is Alfonso Pichardo. He's from a band Moenia out in Mexico. He is an incredible artist. And this was actually something we talked about on his episode, which was about the color blue and how he interpreted in a very different way in one of his songs. So to answer your question, I immediately went to, oh, a song with the color blue in it. I immediately thought of him. And we got into this
Oh,
topic about
cool.
his children and what color color would represent purity and things of that nature. And so immediately that drew me to that question. So
Oh, yeah, and obviously the ocean, but like, yeah, singing the blues as well. It's like, yeah, it's a very layered color and word. I'm gonna check that out. That's posted on your account, right?
yeah, and I'll send it to
Cool.
you too, and I'll send you the song I'm referring to, but it's
That
definitely awesome.
Yeah, I met Flamey at a conference, a folk music conference this year, and I noticed on your podcast, and that's very interesting. So I'll get stuck into your other artists as well. That would be cool.
I
There
know.
you go.
That's so cool. Thank you. I'm actually going to get to meet her in person. I think in September. She'll be in Austin, Texas, so I'm super excited.
Oh, that's cool. We ended up with our other friends, Ben and Karen, taking this weird segue and singing like old Baptist songs. It's like this kind of like specific upbringing, I think, when you know those songs and you're like, wow, I don't know where I put my car keys, but I know the words to all those like Baptist or Hillsong songs that like I may not want to remember necessarily, but they're there. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, that's there forever. So that was my experience with Flamey. We're just like singing these songs and like cracking up over some dinner and drinks. Yeah, with our friends Ben and Karen. So very cool. Love the album. And yeah, so I'm stoked you guys will get to meet and hang out. That's fun.
Exactly. And then you and I will have to do drinks and dinner as well next time I'm in LA.
Yeah.
So
Wearing our thrift outfits. Do you have any
exactly.
plan? Do you have any plans to come out this way?
Not yet, but I am hopefully for sure before the year ends.
Nice. Very
Yes.
cool.
Something I wanted to do with you, Lisa, is I was caught by surprise by some of your Instagram posts that I want to bring up to you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And so, what we're going to do is I'm going to describe a post to you, and then I'll ask you a question that's related to that post. Are you ready? So, this is almost kind of like my rapid question section for this episode with you. Okay.
I'm very ready.
And I'm trying so hard not to laugh because
Now I'm like, what did I
you
post?
you post some funny shit and I cannot wait to talk about it. So let's do it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
The first one I have finally made my relationship status with the DMV from it's complicated to official. No more losing my passport in Ubers after Backstreet Boys concerts. You know what post I'm talking about?
Yes, 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 I do. So I moved here during the pandemic. Everything was very confusing, trying to start a life during that time and getting set up when you don't have a clue how to really, I needed a manual or something, to like sign up for health insurance and all that stuff. And then when I went to get my license, the DMV was closed. I've been driving a long time. So I just was like driving on my New Zealand license. And then I got pulled over and told off for doing that. I panicked. I was like, okay, oh no, I'll get it right away. I'll be fine. I know these questions, very specific American questions about driving. So anyway, it was like a nightmare to get my license here. But I'm glad I did because the photo is so much better than my Australian or New Zealand license. Thank God. Like I looked like I'd done some criminal stuff. Like with my old photo, it was like not very kind to me. So every time I was on a date, I was like, don't look at my ID. I didn't mind about my age, but like, don't see my picture. So that was worth it for that. But it was quite a stress. Yeah, just that whole like, how do I do this in America? And like, how do I do that? Oh, the pandemic's gone. Oh, now I'm in trouble for not having it. I didn't know DMV was open again. Like, just different things there. So that's the story about that. And I did lose my passport in an Uber after going to the Backstreet Boys. I don't know if it was like just the excitement or the nostalgia that my bag was open, may have had like a glass of wine or two, but I did not realize that until I had a flight the next morning. So good times. And by that time, the Uber was in Arizona, just casually. They're like, oh, yeah, it's here, but I'm in Arizona. I was like, great. So that was a fun experience. I did catch the flight though. I just took every single document I'd ever owned in my life and went to the airport like 12 hours early. And I think that by the grace of God or whoever, I managed to catch that flight. Don't sit your American license in Hollywood. And yeah, do a bit of reading before you go and sit the theory test because it may have taken me 1 or 2 times to get it.
There you go. That's okay. Some of us failed it. I failed my driver's one, but I cried. And because I cried, the guy was like, you know what? You look like someone that will practice. And so he passed me.
No way.
Swear.
Damn, you have something going for you. I don't. I had no pity taken on me, but I do drive stick. That's my one thing. I am proud that I drive stick, and like I think I'm a pretty good driver. LA is like crazy for driving. When I first started gigging in LA, they were all random gigs like very far away. So my first car was like a stick shift car that my friend passed on to me when they were going back to New Zealand because when they were moving back, and it was on its last legs for sure. So I learned how to drive in America by driving to weird gigs in this car that was like sort of working and driving stick on the other side of the road. So it was all go. Now I have like a Hyundai accent and it's simple to drive, but yeah, American driving, LA drivers are pretty crazy. So that was that post.
Well, listen, that is very impressive. So, I mean, you definitely got me with instruments and now driving stick as well. So that's amazing. But the question I wanted to ask you about this, I've created a Backstreet Boy playlist for this event with songs. I want you to pick your favorite one. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
And this is in regards to you losing your passport in the Uber, okay? The
Okay.
first song I have, Don't Want to Lose You Now. Number two, Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely. Number three,
Show me.
Quit Playing Games with My Heart.
Oh yeah. Number two.
I love that. Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely.
Yeah. Going for the sad songs, of course. There's something missing in your heart. And there's a key change. So epic. I do play Backstreet Boys covers every now and then. If I do a piano bar gig, it's always, I want it that way. That's the crowd pleaser, it seems. I also like As Long as You Love Me. That's a good one.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you had to pick, though, tonight to go to a Backstreet Boy concert or an NSYNC concert, where are we catching
Mm.
you? This is on record, Lisa.
Oh, Backstreet Boys for sure.
All
Yeah.
right. So now we
Yeah.
know. Perfect.
Yeah. But I did feel, I have to say, it was kind of eye-opening. I saw them play at the Hollywood Bowl. They brought their kids on stage at the end. I'm like, what? They have kids? What? Oh, that's right. I'm that age that Backstreet Boys have children. They're grown-ups. That's right. I'm not 12 anymore. Right.
You're like, they're Backstreet Dads.
Backstreet Dads. Yes. So yeah, it was interesting watching that documentary recently about how they got formed and how they were put together and then how it all started. I remember auditioning for like girl bands in New Zealand when I was younger. Like I would get the newspaper and like check the audition section obsessively, go along to any audition that was like for a girl band or something. Like I wanted to do something like that. Yeah.
How cool. Yeah, that was such a good documentary. I was like mind blown. So for
Oh,
anyone
goodness.
listening, go watch, what was it called? Dirty Pop on Netflix, right?
Dirty
Dirty Pop?
Papa? Dirty Pop. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said Papa. I was like, it's a different documentary. Yeah.
That one was about Backstreet Dads. There you go.
Backstreet Dads.
I love that.
Yeah, but also just like the musicality. And I met some people that have played like a Nick Carter's like solo project, and what a long career that they've had.
Yeah, so crazy. Which it's not as crazy as this next post you made. Are you ready?
Mm.
You made a post about poppycock, cream colon, and snack balls for Christmas. Are these real?
Yes. When was that from? Oh my goodness.
I'll actually flash it to you. It's
Yeah.
from 2017.
Oh my God, 17 likes. Don't show everyone. That's I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna keep up my appearances. And you haven't even liked it. That's the worst thing out of all of it. You're not gonna make that 18 likes.
I love how you're worried about the likes, not about the popcorn called poppycock.
I think that was a family Christmas thing and with my extended family, and we have to like do a white elephant Christmas, when you bring things that you don't want, you pick a number. I think that was one of the assortment. So it's like one of my cousins having like a dark sense of humor and bringing that along. What was it? Poppycock?
Cream
What was the second one
colon
again?
and snack
Oh,
balls.
yeah. And I thought American candy was weird.
No, those
Yeah,
are amazing. We're gonna have to look those up and buy some for Christmas this year.
sounds good. We'll have that after our dinner.
Yes, exactly. The next post I have for you is the little Lisa who'd write letters to the chip companies complaining about the lack of flavor on the salt and vinegars. So I'm going to name some chips, and I want you to tell me out of the
Now we're
two,
talking.
which one has the most flavor and which one would you prefer? Are you ready?
I'm always ready to talk about chips.
Which, by the
Absolutely.
way, the picture of you on this post is the cutest picture ever. But I'm actually pissed that you didn't have fucked up bangs because I feel like back then everyone had fucked up bangs when they were kids. Yours are not. Yours are like perfect.
Really? I did
They
something right growing up. Wait, how old is that post?
This one was from July 22nd, 2017.
Oh yeah, right. Yes.
It's
That's
so
right.
cute.
Should I get that haircut again?
Absolutely.
I have a cowlick, so my fringe, we call it fringe in New Zealand. So my bangs would never like sit straight, but that's so funny. Yeah, I was like a very convicted young child. Like I was like all about like writing and making sure things were correct and like asking, bringing up like fast food restaurants or takeaway shops and asking like what kind of oil they used and stuff because I was like a staunch vegetarian. I still am, but yeah, I remember like feeling furious. I was like, I put so many good chips, which I feel like there aren't many of in America. Like it sort of doesn't not as common as but in New Zealand I feel like that's the main flavor that you have. Yeah, I think it was like I opened it and it was like, wait, this is no flavor. I'm gonna make this right. So
A true activist right here, you guys.
a little too
Well,
much time on my hands at the time, perhaps.
I don't know that you'll know any of these chips, but are you ready? You have to pick one or the other.
Okay.
Ruffles or Lay's?
Ooh, I do know those chips. I'll say Lay's because there's salt and vinegar Lay's. I don't know if there's salt and vinegar Ruffles.
I don't think so, but yes, Lay's for
Yeah,
sure.
I do like the texture.
Oh yeah, I think they're definitely better, but controversial. I do think sour cream and cheddar Ruffles are better, but that's just me. The
Okay.
second one I have is hot Cheetos or hot fries.
I'm gonna say hot fries if the oil is not beef oil.
Okay.
I'm that weirdo that asks what kind of oil they use. I'm just like, well, I don't, but I love hot fries.
I love that. Cheetos crunchy or puffs?
I have those chickpea ones, like the vegan ones, but I would go puffs. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. But
yeah.
yes, they do have I know exactly which ones you're talking about. Those are so good.
They're they're like just in the kitchen there.
Cool Ranch or nacho cheese Doritos?
I'd say Doritos. Oh, they're both Doritos, you mean? Oh, that's the flavor? I
Yeah.
thought Cool Ranch was a brand that I didn't know of. Yeah. Um, I've never tried Cool Ranch before,
You've
so
never had the Cool Ranch Doritos? Don't do it. Honestly, the MSG is so high in Doritos. I think it's the highest MSG count in all the chips, so don't do it. But yes,
okay.
Cool Ranch Doritos, it's a thing.
Okay, I'll have a look. Yeah. I'll check the
Original?
ingredients.
Exactly. Check the oil.
Yeah, check the one.
Original or white cheddar Cheez-Its?
I've never had a cheese it.
No way.
Don't hang up on me. Yeah.
I love it. No, I'm not going to hate on it. That's perfect.
Cheese it. It's with a Z, right? A Z? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I just Googled it and I have not had one before. 4 years in America. It should have been part of my education. When I got my American license, they should have been like, congrats, here's some Cheez-Its because you're American-ish now, but haven't had them yet.
You're not missing out much. Anything I just listed in those chips, they're unhealthy. They're so bad for you. Just don't do it.
Are they a sponsor? Is that why you're listening to them like subtly in the podcast?
They are not.
Not yet.
Not yet, but we are going to talk about sponsorships here in a little bit. But before we do
Okay.
that, you posted a picture of a cat playing a flute. Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
No, I'm just like, what am I doing?
This was back in 2014, and this made me
Um,
want to ask you, what did you think of the Cats musical, the movie? Were you a fan or not a fan?
I haven't seen it. I got told not to watch it.
Put it in the list, the bad chips we just named. I couldn't get through 15 minutes of it. I stopped it and I was
Really?
like, what the fuck is this? Yes.
Isn't James
So
Corden in it?
I don't remember. Like I said, I literally saw the opening number and I was like, fuck this, turn it
What put
off.
you off?
For the cast that they had, how was this shit budget? Like it was so cheap. It was so bad. So don't watch it.
Who sang Memory in it? Like the big song.
I have no idea. I'm trying to
Okay. Have you seen the
forget.
musical?
I have, yes.
Okay. Did you like that?
Oh, I love it. That's why I was so
Yeah.
disappointed because I'm like, this is shit.
Yeah, I remember making up dance routines to that, songs from that show when I was a kid, for sure. And like singing Memory at an audition and like having trauma because I don't know if I got the role.
I remember finding and this literally just came to my mind right now. I remember finding a cassette when I was little of the soundtrack to it, and I just
Yeah.
loved it. Would you consider going back to musicals? I mean, you were in a musical yourself, right?
Yeah. So I grew up like wanting to do that as like a full-time thing and would take lessons and dance and that kind of thing to work towards that. And I was invited to go to a school overseas, but the money that would cost to live overseas for 3 years, everything was just too much at the time. Quite heartbroken at the time, thinking it was like the end of the world. I was like, I'm 17 and my life is over because I'm not going to this school. And yeah, I definitely always had an interest in musicals. And now I got to do one in 2019 called Once. And I loved that movie when it came out. I think the movie was like 2007. I loved the music in it. And so when there was an opportunity to do the musical version of that, it was like a nice like meeting of those two things, like songwriting and yeah, it's a celebration of musicians. And also, yeah, I had to learn a Czech accent for that one, which was the challenge for sure.
that musical got a Tony, didn't it?
Yes, I was not involved with it when it got the Tony, but I feel like, no one needs to know that apart from everyone I just told. But I did like the Australasian version, like a New Zealand version. And I wasn't even living in New Zealand at the time, but I flew back to do that. And yeah, it was definitely such a lovely experience. And the cast were incredible. And just the music, Glenn Hansard and my kids are Vola. Like, I love their songs and I love them independently as an artist and artists in their own right and the stuff that they've done together and Seven Swans. And yeah, big fans. That was a really awesome experience. And I play one spot called Tramp Stamp Grannies where it's a lot of like show tunes that people ask for. There's one in New York called Marie's Crisis, and it's known for people requesting songs and singing along. And that's owned by Darren Chris, the one I play at. And so yeah, it's kind of like I get to kind of explore that part of me that it's not like the forefront of what I do, but it is like sort of a guilty pleasure. And I would be open to doing some more of that kind of work in the future again. Just so the path that I chose sort of led me out different ways. But yeah, I have to get my twang happening to sing and practice those scales. And yeah, would never say never for sure.
I love that. Well, just for the record, too, I feel like whenever I go to LA and we go to dinner, we are going to work on turning you into what's the word I'm thinking? We're going to turn you into like a name dropping bad bitch, okay? Because I feel like you are so modest. Like, yeah, I did this. It's not so cool. Lisa, it's fucking cool. You're a total badass, okay? I mean,
Thank you.
listen, I've never hand modeled for fucking anyone, okay? I think like everything that you are doing is so cool. And I feel like if I were you, I'd be so mean to everyone. Like, oh, you've never been Mandy Moore's hands? You suck.
I know it is sort of like the New Zealand and Australian British disposition. We're sort of like, I'm sorry for existing, please, But no, I am really proud of what I've done here and coming here with like nothing and no one and just like building a life here. I think that's an achievement. It can be easy to focus on the things that you haven't done yet. But yeah, like got to sing Queen with Jack Black and make a record with his bandmate John Spiker and that piano bar I was talking about, like, Amy Schumer, like just with Baz Luhrmann coming in, and I've got to sing Pocahontas with Evan Rachel Wood. And yeah, life's not so bad for sure. There's plenty more to come. And I love some of the stories and the places I've played at. And, I played at Sharon Stone's private event, but randomly I just sung a song that she'd written the lyrics for that if someone that came up to me asked me to do a demo for. And so like there's all these like random little things. But I think if you go back to New Zealand and you like mention a few names, they're like, oh, who do you think you are? It's a very different kind of mentality, but I'm learning to back myself more because it's kind of essential here. But I think there's a way you can do it without sounding like a dick, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm having a full circle moment with you because it's so funny to hear you also talk about how, like, you know what? I have done some pretty cool things. Even some of the smaller gigs, something beautiful has come out of it. But going back to what we were talking about, your new single, your latest single, talking about the appearance of what you look like and no one really knowing what it is that you're feeling on the inside. And if you really think about it, I think I just kind of put it together why you did such a great job with that song, because not only did you come to the US on your own with just a suitcase, you started from the ground. And because you're in LA, I am so sure not a lot of people would bother to ask you, how are you really doing? Because to them, you're in LA living the fucking dream. So of course they're not going to ask, you know? So I'm having a full circle moment with you here. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that it's a good town for me. It brings out, it's just the opportunities that are here, and it's not frowned upon to do a multitude of different things. It's kind of celebrated to work really hard, and it's okay to like do that event where you're playing that and write your own music. Yeah, so I love the different opportunities that it's enabled me to like celebrate some of the stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually really cool that I can have the few thousand songs to play that kind of thing, or to like when someone wants to sing a song and oh, Jack Black wants to sing Queen. Oh, luckily I know that because of all the other gigs I've done where it's like maybe no one was listening. But yeah, these skills definitely have enabled me to bring something unique to the table, I think, which is really cool. So thanks
Exactly.
for helping me. You can send me the bill for my therapist appointment.
No, I'm having the best time ever. And while we're on the topic of opportunities, the last question I have for you when it came to your Instagram posts, if Crocs sponsored you today, what Croc charms would you design to go with the Lisa Crockley special?
Oh my gosh, y'all. I have like a bit of a phobia of Crocs, and I know that they're really cool now. Do you own Crocs?
I have one pair, but I'm referring back to a post you made in 2012. Do you remember this or no?
I know. I'm gonna get haters like Croc fans like hitting me up. Well, I remember like one of my first gig posters was like I love arcade games, love Pac-Man and like those ones. And someone made a gig poster of me where you're like instead of like Space Invaders or whatever, you're shooting up a Croc that explodes. Because I just had like wasn't a fan, but yeah, what Croc charm? I don't know. I don't know which ones there are. Do you have a bracelet on that I could see?
I don't. So it's so funny because so in 2012, you posted, "My lifetime goal is to be sponsored by Crocs."
What? Was I drunk?
This is so epic.
2012? Well, I must have been being sarcastic.
It had to have been because I have a pair of Crocs, but my partner
Right.
hates Crocs. He thinks they are the ugliest things in the world. I bought some Croc charms. They're little things that you put in the holes of the Crocs, and he thought they were the most awful in the world. So
Oh my goodness. I don't
let
know
me
if I'd rather
let me show
have
you the
beef oil.
picture.
Beef oil. No, I just Googled. Oh my goodness. What are these? Oh yeah, yeah. I understand if you're like a nurse or like need if it's like the comfort. I'm not fashion forward enough to like have gotten on the Croc train. But things can evolve. We'll see. Some people pull them off, but yeah, I would say I'm a little phobic of them. I
So
don't know what
no
happened in
Croc.
my past, but like, can I have the charm without having the Croc, or is it like just wear it somewhere else?
Yeah, you can do
That's fine.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a couple of things in my life. I'm a little bit like, I don't know why I don't like that, but it's just makes me freaked out a bit. But yeah, I'll find that gig poster where it's like, oh, the Crocs are exploding. I mean, if that was my lifetime goal, it's probably like one of the more attainable ones. If I really put my heart to it, maybe wrote them a song or something, but something weird must be going on.
I love it. Well, you have it on record here. We'll know exactly what charms to not expect from Lisa Crawley's collection.
No, I feel sick.
It's so funny because you're not the only one. I did an episode with Matt Sarafa. He
Mhm.
fucking hates Crocs. He is not a fan of them either. So you're not the only one to go on
I know
record and be
I
like,
got
no.
so I spilled myself. I was just having a moment. I was like, oh,
I
recovery.
love it.
Not a fan.
Oh no, they're a big no-no on his
They're
list. He will not fuck with Crocs.
okay.
So you're
Okay.
not the only one. So that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. When I was younger, I was like kind of phobic of the Teletubbies and there's Crocs, and that's about it.
Okay, the Teletubbies are
And
creepy as shit though, but
right?
so funny. Lisa, it's been such a pleasure getting to talk to you about all this random shit. The last thing I want you to do is tell everyone what can we expect for the rest of the year. I know you mentioned an EP later on in the
Hmm.
year. You don't have to give us a specific day. We're not going to hold you against it,
Okay.
but just what can we expect from it? What time frame, can we expect it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's being mixed right now. So I will be releasing a couple of singles and then drop the whole thing towards the end of the year. I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's a nice representation of where I'm at musically and also like getting back to some of the ways. Like I think some of my best recordings have been made in LA in a specific way, but I really miss being in a studio with a real piano as well. So I'm excited about having some more piano-based songs. Feels like me and like my creating my like clarinet arrangements and having John's played a lot of guitar and we've got pedal steel and just some of the instruments I used to have on some of my older albums. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And there's a song, I think the first single will be called like More Than What You Can Do. It's about like when I was moved here and I was like always been known as the keyboard girl or like whatever, even like when I grew up at church, oh, you're the keyboard girl, or like finding your like that's thinking that that's who you are. And like when that's taken away from you and like even like watching the Celine Dion documentary, it's like her identity is her voice, and it's like you lose something, or like for me, I was like playing live all the time. So when I couldn't do that, I'm like, oh, what else do I have to offer as a person? Is that all I have, and is that all who I am? So yeah, it's kind of like a Beatles-esque song, and it's about like giving yourself credit and saying you've got a lot more going for you, and there's more to who you are than just what you do. It's one of my most favorite songs that I think I've written. So looking forward to dropping that, and I'll probably work with Will again, who did the Hey You video on some more videos. It's like the actress in me that, isn't acting on a show regularly. I'm like, oh, let's just make another music video. Let's do that. And yeah. So
Absolutely. Well, you heard it
fun
here,
stuff.
everyone. Can't wait to hear it. And Will, if you're listening, we can't wait to see what you come up with for this video because what you did with the latest
Yeah.
single, Hey You, is awesome. So
Yeah, he did it all. He like filmed it, directed it, edited it. So super talented. Very grateful for the people I've met and come across who have been very kind and like keen to collaborate. So yeah, some fun stuff ahead. And thank you so much, Mo, for talking to me and bringing up my traumatic Instagram posts from the past.
you're so welcome. Well, you have it here, everyone. The beautiful and talented Lisa Crawley. Can't wait to hear everything else that you're going to be working on for the next few months. I mean, we're already almost towards fall in the year, so it's coming very
Yeah.
quickly. So can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It's creeping up. It's almost Christmas. We're gonna have the Christmas songs playing in the shopping malls like the end of the month.
Literally.
I'll send you some Crocs for Christmas. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye. Thank you.
Of course. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.